coming off really a defining week. A lot of people call it a bye week or an open week, and I felt like this was a defining week, for this football team. Coming off of really getting our teeth knocked out, and that's totally on me. But we're past that, and we're moving forward. And, we've got a really good UTEP team sitting here in front of us, this Saturday night. We've got to go on the road and play in the Sun Bowl, against a really good team. But I think our team has taken steps. We've taken strides. We've got a good attitude. We got a good mindset. I think we've had a lot of growth last week and needed to. So biggest thing is we know where we're at. We've got another stretch. We're 1-1. We've got 10 games left, so to speak. So, we're excited about playing this game. So we just got to have a great week of preparation, continue to focus on ourselves, and continue to grow.
I'm sure you're anxious to see how your team responded in practice. So what did it look like?
I thought it was a great week, and that's what we wanted to, kind of our theme, like how are you going to respond? What are we going to do? We've been knocked down, but we ain't knocked out. We got to get up. We got to get up. And I thought our players got up, and it was just a heightened focus and urgency, really, as an organization, as there should be. And we know there are going to be tough times. And what do we do next?
Coach, that last week to really, no game last week, obviously, but just have this week for the guys that really focus in and focus in like a respond or work on responding back. How big is that for this group?
Well, it's kind of, I expected it, but you always want to see it. I think we've got great leadership. We've got kids that care. We've got a large senior group. We've got a large junior group. We've got, a good size sophomore group, and these guys care. We've invested a lot. We've worked a lot and put a lot into this. And we've had a bump, so what do you do next? And this is a marathon. It's not a sprint, and it's not how you start. It's how you finish. And this team will be remembered, how they finish, not how they begin.
Offensively, some question marks there. What did you guys focus on last week?
Really just execution. If you look at it, it's execution. We were able to, to get some movement up front and be able to body up those guys. We were able to get some positive yards, but we weren't able to execute critical third downs. And, the one we did, we were able to get something going, but then you can't turn the ball over twice, 2 fumbles and 1 interception, and expect to play with a team like Alabama. And then field position. We lost field position. We had 2 penalties in the kicking game that gave them 15 yards in 2 different drives. So you can't play and have that level of execution in any phase and expect to be in the ball game in the fourth quarter. So, we were able to see it. We were able to own it. We were able to look it dead in the eye and work on it. So, I believe in this team. I really do. And I'm not just saying that. I like this team. I think this team has a lot inside of it that people hadn't seen yet. So we're focused on getting better one day at a time, and that's the key, is who are we week 8? Who are we week 9? In this league, man, it's even in this game, but in this league especially, it's week to week, and anybody can beat anybody, and it's about growing, and it's about just continuing that journey to get better, because when it starts coming together and it starts clicking and we start executing on offense and we start getting teams off the field, on third down, and we know our kicking game has a chance to be a strength also, then we've got a chance to put a pretty daggone good team on the field.
Well, along those points, in terms of your receiving core, give us a health status on it. We're getting a couple guys back, and then, of course, Max in the kicking game, where they stand.
I think, Nick and Buck both started practicing last week. Thought they looked good in practice. It was great to have those 2 back. So really, I think that you sit there and you look at our team, getting some receivers back with the guys that we've already got. You're seeing Roscoe Bird starting to move now. Cedron's fine. Steven Sawan's good to go right now. I think by Saturday night we should be full speed ahead. Max took some kicks today, and right now, we'll continue to monitor him day by day because we want to make sure he's ready when he gets out there. But he looked good today. He was off to a good start.
You mentioned UTEP and just with the team they are. What are some things that you've seen that you think this team can really take advantage of on Saturday?
I think you sit there and you look at them, and I think they're top 5 in the country in tackles for loss. They had 10.5 sacks going into Texas. They play extremely hard. They're well coached. They swarm to the football. They play with a lot of effort and a lot of toughness. They do a lot of movement, bring a lot of pressure on defense. So, we've got our hands full, against a really good active defense. Then offensively, they've got speed. They're wide receivers. They can really run. And Malachi Nelson, their quarterback, he's accurate. And he can make every throw on the field. They're going to play tempo. They're going to spread us out wide. We've got to be able to adjust. They're going to run a lot of their inside and outside zone, RPOs. So we've got our hands full. They're really good in the kicking game. So, hey, and this tells you something too. So their home opener, they have an hour and a half lightning delay. 31,000 fans stayed. And that tells you something about their buy-in behind their football program. So we're expecting an electric crowd. We're expecting a rowdy crowd 8 o'clock at night. And, it's going to be an opportunity for this team, to go out and play a really good football team in a good environment.
Yeah, you mentioned offensively the focus on execution, and obviously you mentioned it's a defense that's top 5 or we're top of the country, the TFLs, when you task these guys with this challenge, they know the challenge, just how do they embrace that? How do they respond to that challenge?
They understand, because you can turn on the film and you can sit there and watch UTEP's D-line get after Texas's offensive line and Texas's tight ends. Play after play after play. They won the line of scrimmage. And they did. You can go back and watch it. They won the line of scrimmage. And so, Utah State's got a good football program. UT Martin's got a good football program. And then you see them go into Texas and do it again. So, obviously, that gets everybody's attention. And they are legit. They are real. And they're good, and they fly to the football, and they create problems for you defensively.
Aiden Armena's confidence shaken at all through 2 games now?
No, I think Aiden has really raised his focus. I think his confidence has risen, and he sees what it is. He knows what we've got to do, and I think it's going to slow down for him. But it's not just Aiden. It's the entire unit as one, really every man doing their job and precisely doing their job, whether it's timing, whether it's blocking on the perimeter, whether it's, the right timing on what we're doing. I think that we took strides, in offense. It's coming together. We're able to get some guys back, but we're also able to get some more reps of guys that are first-year players here, like a Rico Powers.
Have you played a game in El Paso before?
Been there twice. Played twice in the Sun Bowl when I was at UAB. So obviously it's a beautiful. The Sun Bowl is a beautiful stadium. It's there in the mountains. It's a great setting, for a college football game. So looking forward to it.
You mentioned the running back earlier. We talked about the running back group, and then obviously week 1 was Bryant with a big game there. Just the run game this week, attacking that strong defense. How big is that?
I think anytime you play any football game, you got to be able to run the football, and that's first and foremost on offense. You got to be able to run the ball to win. And you're sitting there, and we never got in a rhythm. I think we had 17 plays in the first snap against 17 snaps in the first half against Alabama. How can you get in any kind of rhythm when you're 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out? That's the end of the game of that story. Is it's hard to get a quarterback in a rhythm, a running back in a rhythm, an offensive line in a rhythm, tight ends, receivers, anybody. So our level of execution has to increase tremendously.
The New Mexico connection, those guys got to be fired up, right? Just considering the parents and family can make this trip.
Absolutely. That's obviously a big deal. Always when your family and the people that you love have an opportunity to come see you play, because those are the ones that helped you get to where you're at. So obviously those guys, are excited about this game, as we all are.
Let's look defensively. Mikasa Perkins, he's been a guy for that defense that's been the catalyst. Having him on that defensive side of the ball and working
Hey, he gives us some versatility, where he has a safety physicality, safety body that can play star, that can play corner, that can play safety. He can play man, he can play zone, he can come off the edge. So he just gives us a good variety of tools right there with multiple things that he can do at a high level.
Was it a good or bad thing that you guys had this week off?
You know what? I believe that everything happens for a reason. As hard as that was, and it's difficult. I believe everything happens for a reason. I believe your response and how you respond determines really what you're made of. And there's going to be failure, and sometimes you're going to fall hard and you're going to get knocked down. But I'll be damned if we're going to be knocked out. I'll just be real with you. So we'll find out.
And Coach, you mentioned just how tough that Alabama game was. We see how much passion you put into the program and how much care you have for them. For you this week, how much focus, what's your focus been like with the staff to make sure everybody's on page and that staff to put the guys in the right greatest position to be successful?
I think without a doubt you can say there has been laser focus, extreme focus. Looking, ourselves in the mirror, and also owning it. And without a doubt, there's laser focus.